Ever wonder why so many ex-prisoners end up back behind bars? Nearly 70% are rearrested within 3 years. After 5 years, it's over 75%, and for some, almost 80% within 9 years. It's a relentless cycle. What truly fuels this persistent return to crime? Why do people commit crimes? And more puzzling, why do so many reoffend, again and again? We're not just talking about one-off mistakes. We're examining a deep-seated pattern, a way of thinking that often resists rehabilitation efforts. Understanding the criminal mind, especially that of repeat offenders, isn't just academic curiosity. It's vital if we want to effectively prevent crime, help individuals truly change, and ultimately make our communities safer. Today, we dive into the tangled psychology of criminal behavior. We'll explore the theories that try to explain it, the myriad factors that contribute to it, and what this all means for society. To make these complex ideas more tangible, we'll look closely at the psychological profile of one of history's most notorious figures, Ted Bundy. His case, though extreme, provides chilling clues about the darker aspects of the human mind and the hidden urges that can drive unthinkable acts. What makes a criminal tick? The answer is complicated, deeply unsettling, and crucial for us to understand. The overwhelming challenge of recidivism. The scale of reoffense, or recidivism, is staggering. A vast majority released from correctional facilities end up back in the system. The Bureau of Justice Statistics reports high rearrest rates. 71% of those released in 2012 were rearrested within 5 years. While slightly down from 77% for the 2005 cohort, the core problem persists. These new arrests often involve property crimes and even violent offenses. This cycle has devastating consequences. For individuals, it means more legal battles and immense difficulty reintegrating. For society, it's more crime, more victims, and a massive drain on public safety resources, billions annually. Massachusetts alone spent over $500 billion on prisons in 2007. Nationally, it's over $60 billion a year. What's more, a small group of repeat offenders often commits a large share of all crime. Breaking this cycle is incredibly tough. Ex-offenders face systemic barriers to employment and housing. With around 70% lacking a high school diploma, job prospects are grim. Untreated mental health issues and substance abuse are rampant, significantly increasing reoffense risk. Prison life itself can hinder adjustment to freedom. Without strong support, resources, and real opportunities, returning to crime can feel inevitable. This isn't just about willpower. It reflects systemic challenges in balancing punishment with effective rehabilitation and societal reintegration. Unpacking the criminal psyche, theories and contributing factors. To understand what makes a criminal tick, we must explore the complex web of psychological, social, and environmental factors. Criminology and psychology offer several key theories. Psychodynamic theory, originating with Sigmund Freud, suggests that criminal behavior can arise from unresolved conflicts buried in the unconscious mind, often stemming from early childhood experiences. An imbalance between our primitive urges, the ID, our reality principle, the ego, and our moral conscience, the superego, could lead to deviant behavior, including crime. For instance, an underdeveloped superego might result in a weak inner moral compass. Then there's behavioral theory, which posits that criminal behavior, like all behaviors, is learned. Albert Bandura's social learning theory is pivotal here. It explains that individuals can learn aggression and criminal acts by observing others, family, friends, or media figures, especially if such behavior is seen as rewarded or goes unpunished. If role models engage in unlawful acts and seemingly benefit or face no negative consequences, imitation is more likely. Cognitive theory examines how a person's thought processes contribute to their actions. It suggests that criminals might harbor distorted thinking patterns, deficiencies in moral reasoning, or poor problem-solving skills. They might rationalize their actions, misinterpret social cues, or fail to consider the consequences. These faulty cognitions and poor self-control are key in perpetuating a cycle of crime. Beyond these overarching theories, numerous specific contributing factors play a significant role. Childhood trauma and adverse experiences, ACE's exposure to abuse, neglect, domestic violence, or severe family instability during childhood is strongly correlated with later criminal behavior. Trauma can impact brain development, emotional regulation, and the ability to form healthy relationships, increasing offending risk. Mental health disorders. It's vital to state that most people with mental health conditions are not involved in crime. However, certain untreated disorders are more prevalent in offender populations. Conditions like antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, conduct disorder, psychopathy, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder can manifest symptoms such as impulsivity, aggression, impaired judgment, and lack of empathy, which may contribute to criminal acts. Substance abuse and addiction. This is a massive contributor to recidivism. Drug and alcohol misuse can impair judgment, lower impulse control, alter brain chemistry, and drive individuals to commit crimes to support their addiction. Often, substance abuse co-occurs with other mental health issues, creating a complex challenge. Social and environmental factors. Living in poverty, lacking educational or employment opportunities, and associating with delinquent peers or criminal groups significantly increase the risk of engaging in crime. Neighborhoods with high incarceration rates can become destabilized, exacerbating negative conditions. Personality traits. Certain traits are more common among offenders, particularly repeat offenders. These include high impulsivity, aggression, sensation-seeking, and a lack of empathy or remorse, characteristics often associated with psychopathy. These traits can make it difficult to adhere to societal norms and respect others' rights. Neurobiological factors. Emerging research in neurocriminology suggests that brain structure and function might also be implicated. Some studies indicate potential differences in areas like the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and impulse control, and the amygdala, processing emotions like fear and aggression, in individuals exhibiting chronic antisocial behavior. There's also research into potential imbalances between the brain's go and no-go systems. It's rarely a single cause, but typically a complex interplay of these elements that shapes an individual's propensity for criminal behavior. Understanding this intricate mix is crucial for developing interventions that address the root causes of crime, rather than just its symptoms. The Enigma of Ted Bundy, a case study in criminal psychology. To get a real, if unsettling, look at the complexities of a criminal mind, let's examine Theodore Ted Bundy. On the surface, Bundy was the antithesis of the stereotypical criminal. He was widely perceived as handsome, intelligent, articulate, and charming. He attended college, briefly studied law, and was even involved in politics. This mask of sanity, a term often used by psychopathy experts, enabled him to gain the trust of his victims and evade capture for years, all while committing a horrifying string of brutal murders of young women across several states during the 1970s. He confessed to 30 murders, but the actual number could be significantly higher. Bundy's psychological profile offers a disturbing insight into severe personality disorders. Dr. Hervey Cleckley, a pioneer in psychopathy research, diagnosed him as a psychopath. Psychopathy, a severe form of antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, is characterized by a constellation of traits that Bundy exemplified almost perfectly. Superficial charm and glibness. Bundy could be incredibly engaging and persuasive, traits he skillfully used to lure his victims. Pathological lying and manipulation. He was a consummate liar, deceiving everyone around him, including family, his girlfriend, and law enforcement. His decision to represent himself in court showcased his arrogance and manipulative nature. Lack of empathy and remorse. Perhaps most chillingly, He appeared utterly incapable of feeling for others or regretting his actions. He viewed his victims merely as objects for his own gratification, devoid of humanity. Grandiose sense of self-worth and narcissism. Bundy was profoundly arrogant, believing himself superior to everyone else. Need for power and control. Classified as a power-control serial killer, Bundy's primary motivation wasn't just the act of killing. It was the complete domination and humiliation of his victims. He often prolonged their suffering to extend his sadistic pleasure and sometimes revisited their bodies, reasserting his control. Impulsivity and poor behavioral controls. Beneath the surface, while capable of meticulous planning, his underlying impulsiveness and rage eventually led to critical mistakes. Bundy's early life contained elements that psychoanalysts suggest might have played a role, though they are not definitive causes. Born to an unwed mother, he was initially raised believing his mother was his sister and his grandparents were his parents. This family deception could have fostered identity confusion and trust issues. He reportedly endured a difficult relationship with an abusive stepfather and described himself as a shy, introverted child who struggled socially, masking deep-seated anger and resentment beneath his charming facade. His crimes were fueled by violent, obsessive homicidal fantasies. Bundy himself admitted that the fantasy and anticipation were often more potent than the aftermath of the crime itself. This suggests a compulsive cycle where reality never matched the fantasy, compelling him to kill repeatedly. He also kept souvenirs or trophies from his crimes, which helped him relive these fantasies. Beyond psychopathy, experts believe Bundy would likely also meet diagnostic criteria for necrophilia and paraphilia, specifically sexual sadism, given the nature of his offenses. His ability to compartmentalize his life, the affable student on one hand, the brutal predator on the other, was remarkable and profoundly disturbing. The Ted Bundy case compelled law enforcement and psychologists to radically rethink their understanding of serial offenders. It starkly demonstrated how individuals capable of extreme violence could appear perfectly normal, seamlessly blending into society. His case underscored the unreliability of surface behavior in threat assessment and spurred the development of more sophisticated behavioral analysis and criminal profiling techniques. He remains a chilling testament to how a confluence of severe personality disorder, potential early life adversities, and deeply ingrained deviant fantasies can forge an incredibly dangerous criminal mind. Attempting to understand the mind of a criminal reveals a landscape far more intricate than a simple dichotomy of good versus evil. High recidivism rates highlight a persistent, cyclical problem, fed by a potent combination of psychological predispositions, learned behaviors, distorted thinking patterns, and significant societal barriers to reintegration. From foundational theories like Freud's to the chilling realities embodied by figures such as Ted Bundy, we see that criminal behavior often springs from a deep well of inner vulnerabilities interacting with external pressures. Grasping these tangled dynamics isn't merely an academic exercise. It's about paving the way for more effective prevention strategies, offering pathways to genuine rehabilitation, and ultimately, cultivating a safer society for everyone. The crucial question, what makes them tick, continues to demand our focused attention, rigorous research, and unwavering commitment to finding more comprehensive answers. So, what are your thoughts? What do you believe are the biggest factors driving criminal behavior and this persistent cycle of reoffending? Is it primarily individual psychology, upbringing and environment, broader societal issues, or an intricate mix of all these elements? Share your perspectives and ideas in the comments below. And if you're keen to explore more about the human mind and its darker facets, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have more videos coming up, examining other famous criminal cases and the insights they offer.